I want to discuss a little bit of an understanding that we're all working towards. We all want to understand what unconditional love is. We all want to understand what Christ consciousness is. So I'm going to kind of put forth something that you probably never heard of before, or this is brand new to you and you're reaching for this, because it's something that I just discovered for myself. And so I was hosting a meeting every Sunday around United for Humanity. It's what do we all have this common thing or common thread that we all want to see happen for ourselves and our children and those things moving forward. What has transpired is understanding that 99% to 1%. So we've talked about this before where we feel like there's 1% of these families that control the whole world and all this, and we're the 99%. I'm going to turn that table just a little bit here. What if the 99% is your divinity, your Christ consciousness? Now you might be asking, what is Christ consciousness? Christ consciousness is your connection to Christ, to the consciousness of Source, God, Creator, whatever you would like to call Him for yourself. When we tap into that understanding of the divinity of the Christ consciousness, we still have 1% that kind of lingers on the side here. That 1% is where the ego gets involved, and we understand the programming that's happening and we allow it to affect how we live our day-to-day life. It shows up as ego, it shows up as can't do this, and it's not fair, and this isn't working. It shows up as addictions, it shows up as anything that you need to experience in this lifetime. Every choice that you make, you can stop those choices if they're not in your favor. But the goal is to understand that we are the Christ consciousness. We are consciousness of Christ. We live through Him and experience Him on a daily basis. Now, a lot of controversy will come in around what's Jesus's role? How do we understand His role? He was here to do the exact same thing, Christ consciousness. He understood that He was part of Source, God. He was part of the Creator, and that He was living His life in harmony of what He wanted to experience, how He could be of service, how He could show up, how He could just stand for everyone and just help as He could. And so our role here is to understand that we have to let go of the belief system and the bullshit that we create in our life to allow ourselves to come back into the representation of what it is. And so understanding how this all unfolds for us in a day-to-day life, it could be one thing that happens when we're children. And we'll experience that. And then all of a sudden we play that over and over again when something's not in our favor or we don't like the outcome of that or how it made us feel. And we'll keep holding on to that little nugget and never let it go. And eventually it stirs and causes chaos and we start to feel like shit. So part of the understanding of the 99% to 1% is how to literally let go of this 1% of the ego stuff that we hold on to. And when I say ego, it's not just that, the duality of yourself. It's literally everything. Your programming, your, don't do this, don't do that. You can do this, but only in short amounts and all these things. The easiest way to understand is if we allow ourselves to be led and become the leader, everything in your reality will change to support what it is you're trying to create for you. And that can be as simple as letting go of some beliefs that you're holding on to, where you have to be a certain way and you have to show up as a certain person. When we're truly authentic to ourselves and what it is we want to navigate forward in helping humanity and ourselves, everything starts to just let go. And then we end up just being in the moment. The more you are in the moment, the more there is no duality of the 1% to 99%. Right now, it might feel like everything that you think you know is being tested and it's in chaos. That's for a divine reason. You've allowed it to show up that way, right? For the last few years, we've been in this constant state of rocking and moving of a boat, per se. That's just to allow you to see where all of the things that were truly out of alignment were always out of alignment. And you're just noticing it now. The reason why it's happening now is to bring us closer together to the Christ consciousness. And the easiest way to understand this is I'm going to show it to you. Okay. I'm going to give this to you in like really super, super easy terms. Most of us think time is linear, which it is not. It is moving and creating as we move through life. And the easiest way to understand this for yourself is to understand that when you come here, it's almost like we lose that divine connection, right? We're still chasing after things that were going to fulfill us or anything like that. We'll create some good stories, right? We'll create some ego stuff. We'll create the dark night of the soul. we'll create chaos with ourselves. We'll also create like emotional connection. And so as we learn to navigate from childhood onward, we start to pull and bring separation between us and God, right? And it's not fair. I have to blame somebody. My emotions are in the way. This isn't working. It's not fair. I don't know how to change it. And we'll seek outside of ourselves to have something unfold for us or to have a resolution. The biggest thing to understand is the more you create as a separation, the harder it is for us to come back together with it. If you understand that you created all this stuff in the middle just to be able to pull you back to Him, it makes the understanding of why you brought everything into your experience. It doesn't matter how hard you chase things, because you're still adding more to here. The biggest thing is understanding that you can just come right back to the consciousness of Source and have it as though there is zero separation to you and Him and anything else that you desire, and everything will show up. Everything. So the separation you put between that is how things start to unravel for us. We walk through the veil of illusion. We walk through all these different points and aspects for ourselves, and we're all guilty of it. We all have to have an experience of something. So we think, right? If we don't have an experience, we're just being in the moment. For some people, that's boring. So they create the energy around whatever it is they need to experience. Jealousy, envy, greed, which most of us travel through regardless. There are certain things that every single one of us will go through. We don't know why. And that's okay. It's understanding that it is there showing up as a representation of how you can become one with Christ. And it's the consciousness of Christ, not religious Christ. Not, you can label it however you want to, but it's showing up in this now moment for yourself. If you think of yourself as the creator of literally everything and anything, then anything and everything can be yours. How do you want to experience it for yourself? If you've had something with this, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But here's my understanding. The more beliefs you attach into, the more your life will support those beliefs instead of what you truly desire. So it's about flipping the script into something you truly desire, which is the consciousness of Christ. What do you desire that is in the true alignment of who you are and what you want, right? Once you start stepping, you won't stop that momentum. And everything will start to align into a better life, into a better mentality, into a better love for yourself. At the end of the day, it is you falling in love with yourself. The Christ consciousness is just pure love. And the biggest change that is going to happen is us loving ourselves even more than we could ever fathom and watch the miracles unfold. So when we talk about manifestation and all these different tools and techniques that are out there to be able to achieve the same thing, that's just it. It's all achieving the same thing. At the end of the day, your manifestations are you aligning into the consciousness. What is it you want to create for yourself? And it's not hoity-toity and it's not woo-woo and it's literally the love for yourself. It's bringing everything back to you instead of all this separation. The more separation you create, it seems like for some people, the harder it is for them to move out of it. Everything is in your own way. And I want to share this with you. I run an 8-week program called Letting Go of the Bullshit. And in this program, we take you raw and in your true form that you are right now, and we literally transform you. And what I mean by that is you start to unlock everywhere that you are in your way of creating division of yourself, creating these non-acceptance of self, not self-love. And all of a sudden what happens is you start to understand where you've pulled yourself apart, and now you're going to realign yourself back into this pureness and oneness of who you are. And most of the time that just starts with the intention of wanting to step up and step in for yourself. If we're going to let go of the bullshit, we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to understand it however you need to. Most of my clients and students who've walked through this program, they literally will take and transform their life. I'm working with a couple right now. They've transformed their lives, and they keep on stepping every single day, change for the better, right? And everything is starting to align for them. Students as well, they let go of where they didn't love themselves. They let go of the past where they thought their parents didn't love them. They've stepped fully into where they're loving their self, because there is nothing in between. It is you loving yourself. Everything shows up in your reality to show it to you exactly how you need the proof of what's not working. So if you think life is not working for you, it totally is, because you're manifesting it to work for you in that sense. If you want better, it's time for you to create some better change. If you want to come and work with me, I do one-on-one coaching, and I do also different sessions for people to help them shift their consciousness and their awareness into a higher state of vibration and a state of being. So if you're ready, hit me up, infinitysourcecode.com. I would love to work with you, and let's shift your consciousness.